Why, hello. I was just about to start painting. Is that all right? Yes? Thank you. You can watch if you'd like. I think I'm just going to do something simple. Perhaps some flowers and a green background. Yes, that sounds nice. What do you think? Do you like flowers? I like flowers. In fact, I have a garden outside of different types of plants, including some flowers. I've had to do a lot of garden work and yard work recently because there's a pipe that has been getting in the way of my garden recently. It's rather a shame. I have to go and dig it up. My apologies, I'm a little bit sore in the throat. I've been working a lot out there. In fact, just recently I've found some clay in the ground. I was out there digging up rocks that have been blocking the soil, preventing the plants from really taking root. And I found some clay there too, which would explain part of why the roots couldn't take hold so easily, because there was a layer of clay about 6 inches underground from where the roots could take hold. And they can't take hold easily in clay, so it'd be best to take it out. And what's nice is I went out and I found a YouTube video about taking clay from your backyard and just sifting out all the rocks and the bad stuff, and you get yourself some natural clay to work with, free art supplies. And you all know I like free art supplies. So that will be fun. Perhaps I can do a video on clay at some point. That could be nice. Make a sculpture, maybe a bird, maybe a plant, pay homage to its original place. Well, who knows? I'll figure that out once I get there. The garden, though, it's filled with many plants. It's got some elephant ear plants, which the leaves are bigger than the size of my head. And they really do look like elephant ears. If you look at them, they're so green, but they are so wide, with a little bit of a point on the end. They're nice. There's also some purple plants, which I don't actually know what they're called, but their stems are a deep purple, their leaves are a deep purple, and they gather only rising about a foot above the ground or so, but they spread out relatively wide. They're a nice buffer between some green plants to have some purple there too. It's nice. And there's some lemongrass as well. Basically these tall, skinny shoots that just rise out of the ground over a foot tall. They're rather nice to see too. So many different shapes and colors. I like that in a garden. So nice. What about you? What kind of plants and what kind of colors do you like to see in your garden? Any greens, purples, or do you prefer brighter colors? Yeah, good choices. Yeah, definitely. Let's see, what else do I have in mine? There's definitely rocks. Those aren't plants, of course, but they've certainly gotten in the way. I hope to make them more like a decorative piece to gather the bigger and more clear looking rocks. Not clear. They're opaque, just not as dirty. I don't mind the dirt, but it stands out more when the color is a bit different. So I think that could be nice, to have a little rock path in between some of the plants to prevent them from sprawling out too far, and also to give them a bit of a decorative look. I'd like to try some mint again. Mint plants, of course. Unfortunately, I tried having a mint garden a while back, but it got a bit too many bugs were attracted to it. It was outside. There were 4 different mint plants. There was a peppermint plant. There was a spearmint plant. There was a chocolate mint plant. And there was even a pineapple mint plant. And of course a sweet mint plant. I had about 4 or 5 at a time. One of them died off early. It was rather sad. I don't like it when plants die. It feels rather tragic, especially when you put your heart into growing them and nurturing them from when they were born, just sprouted. Well, perhaps I can try a mint plant garden again. The main problem again was the bugs. And people say that you can grow mints outside. And I do believe, certainly, that they sprawl. Mint plants love to grow. I know that from my indoor mint plants that I once had. But you also need other plants, people say, in order to deter the bugs. You put them outside and around the mint plants in order to deter them. Can't imagine bugs would necessarily not just fly over the plants, but perhaps the smell is just too much of an aroma to where it would keep them away from the sweet plants of the mint. Who knows? Do you know? Do you know much about mint plants? Or am I merely babbling about a particular interest of mine? I see. Well, how about I discuss something else then? Okay. Well, on the vein of plants, I actually have some indoor ones. Or had, rather. Unfortunately, after about a year, they all passed away as well. I sound like such a bad plant owner, don't I? Well, these plants were an interesting case. There were 6 of them together, and they were all in a aquatic... What do you call those things? They provide their own sunlight, and there's a stream of water that continues through it, and the roots merely grow in the water. I don't quite remember what those things are called, but I had one of those, and they housed 6 plants. I saw them from when they sprouted at the very beginning to where they each met their end, one of them quite recently. They lived on for, as a total, about 2 years actually, now that I think about it. None of them were flowering plants. They were all herbs actually, one of them including mint. The first one to sprout was, do I remember? Of course, thyme. Unfortunately, as the others sprouted as well, the thyme one didn't last long. I don't really quite remember why. It just didn't. And then there was... the basil. The basil grew tall and strong. Not too tall, not as tall as the dill plants. There were 2 of those, and one of the dill plants didn't last long, but the other shot up taller than me, which that certainly surprised me. And unfortunately, the container it was in, the aquatic, the water, sunlight, all of that, the sunlight couldn't reach to the top of it, so it ended up bowing back down, and I had to cut it back. It was rather amusing, though, to see it so tall, and it was rather neat. But then we cut it back, and it thrived for longer. And what else? Of course, there was some curly parsley. I remember that. The parsley was the longest to live, actually. It was very nice. It was the healthiest of all of them, actually, because if I remember correctly, the dill plants, it was root rot that eventually got them. If there's too much water in the system of roots, then eventually they start to rot, and they start to carry these white puffs on them near the bottom. That usually indicates there's too much water. Unfortunately, in a system where there's always water, there wasn't much I could do besides take off the rot when I could see it. And that actually worked for the mint plant. The mint plant was rather durable. It sprawled out, and it lasted for longer, even despite the root rot. And, well, that was just about all of them. Oh, I did try a lettuce plant after the time went, but the lettuce didn't last long as all the others were already plenty matured, so the lettuce didn't have much room for itself. That was unfortunate. I think I'll try that system again and try to keep them healthy now that I've gone through a first-time experience of it. I'll make sure to watch out for the root rot and try to help them maintain each their own space a bit more. But who knows what plants I might go with next. I might try tomatoes rather than herbs. Or I might try lettuce again. Although I did like the herbs. It was always nice to just pinch off some when it started to overgrow, and then contain it for a bit and put it in some meals, such as the basil. The basil went in a lot of my eggs that I'd prepare. That was always nice. The curly parsley was always a nice addition as well. And same with the mint. I made some teas with the mint. It was rather nice. Well, enough about that. I've gotten most of the painting finished now. It's just some of the details that I wish to work on a bit more. As you can see, I have a few flowers in there. One of them in the early foreground and a couple in the background. I think I want to add some layering into the one in the foreground in particular. And maybe try to cover up that watered out spot on the stem. The stems aren't too visible, but I think I like that. It gives it a little bit more of an abstract, watery look. And the flowers can be the part that mainly stands out. What do you think? Do you think it should be bolder? Oh no. I've created rather a bit more of a watered out spot than I expected. Well, it's okay. The paint will dry soon enough. See? Plenty dry. Let's add a leaf. Maybe two. Yes, I think I like this. I don't actually know what these flowers are. I just thought they would look nice. I looked up some different flowers before painting this, and I saw this kind, and I went, these look nice. And rather simple for me to start out drawing as well, because I can layer them, and they're quite playful to use with a brush to get those nice pointed ends, but also a bit of a curve to them. I always like drawings that are playful to make. It's rather amusing. Now let's try to make this stem a little bit more clear. Gee, I must be tired. I'm already yawning. I should finish up this painting soon then. Are you a bit tired already? Yes. I can imagine so. I've been picking out rocks as well, out in my garden. I know I've already mentioned that, but... sorry. I'm yawning so much. Well, the rocks from outside are lava rocks. At least that's what they're called. They have lots of holes in them, and they're dark, reddish brown, almost like these flowers here. I find them rather neat, but there's so many of them buried into the soil. They're literally filling up a whole trash can worth. That's where I'm putting them for now, until we can find another place for them. There's a pond area, or an area that I'd like to make into a small pond, next to this bird bath that I recently set outside. The bird bath has a nice little fountain with it as well. Rather sweet, I think. I hope the birds like it. The fountain, I mean. and the bird bath. I had a stuffed animal duck sitting on that bird bath for a while. Kind of silly, I know, but looked rather cute. And it reminded me that hopefully the birds will like the bath and sit in it like that little duck. Well, we'll see. So much niceness about outdoors, isn't there? I live in an area where it's rather warm, rather hot actually, especially in the summers. We don't get a lot of winters, so it's rather easy for plants to grow, so long as they can survive the summer heat. They certainly won't have to face off against much of the bitter cold, so that's nice. What are your favorite plants for the summer? So that's what your climate is like, too. That's how those are able to grow. I see. That's rather neat. I like that. Yeah, I like those too. Well, the heat does certainly make it hard to work. At least where I live. Makes it hard to work outside. But it's not impossible. I just try to work near dusk before the mosquitoes come out. Wear sunscreen. Sometimes mosquito repellent. Usually gloves are very helpful too, to make sure I can avoid the ants crawling on my skin. I do enjoy bugs. I do like them, but I prefer to not bother them too much in their natural habitats. And I prefer to try to take them back outside when they're inside the house. Well, yes, bugs to some people are not too welcome, I imagine. I can understand they look quite different, but I enjoy them. Some of them are quite cute, actually. Although many people disagree with me, it's okay. I can understand. Especially when bugs get into your plants. That's not too pleasant. Well, this drawing is just about finished. I've rather enjoyed painting it. Thank you for being here with me while I did so. And thank you for talking with me. I quite enjoyed it. Goodbye now, and have a good day.